Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. My name is Dan W and today we are at the climax of this Marvel Legends Vulture Build-A-Figure Wing Wave, and in front of me we have the very last figure, Vulture, and obviously I'm going to review this figure and the wings all in this one review, so obviously stay tuned to see the wings. So let's, as always, have a look at the box. As you can see, he comes with a couple of accessories to help build those wings. He comes with a picture of the Tom Holland Spider-Man on the side, and then at the back we get a picture of the Vulture, a little read up, and as always we get a list of all the figures in this wave to complete the Vulture's Build-A-Figure wings. Today we're reviewing the Vulture himself. Some more side art, and then there he is at the front. So very looking forward to opening this figure. As you know, massive fan of the MCU. Love to have another MCU villain in my collection with these epic wings. So without further ado, let's get him open and look at the figure. Pow! And here is the Vulture out of the box, and first impressions are I'm very impressed. I know we haven't seen a lot of this character yet. Obviously the film isn't out and we've only seen a few clips of him in the trailer, but from what we have seen, this is looking very accurate. I do like all the details and all the moulding sculpted pieces on the figure, even down to like the zips. Really like these feet here. I'll get a closer look in a minute. The helmet looks epic. It looks like the eyes are glowing even though they're not. Really looking forward to see Michael Keaton portray this new updated version of the Vulture in the upcoming Homecoming film. So let's have a look at the pieces we get with him. We get this piece which is nice. You can't really see on the camera, but it's basically just a stand for this extra piece that we get, and this is basically the main piece for building the Vulture's wings. This is the bit that plugs into the back of the figure, and obviously we have the stand here that it clips into to help hold those wings, because otherwise the figure would be all off balance. So I appreciate that little touch from Hasbro, as they don't usually give us little extras like that. But before we build the wings, let's have another close look at the figure. So I shall zoom in a tiny bit. Let's do this live. So here we go. So this is the Vulture close up in personal. Really liking the detail on this guy. As I said, if you're a fan of the Blazing Squad, then you know you're going to like this jacket, but all the details are really nice. As you can see, it's got a unique sculpt because the peg for these wings are a little bit further down in the back than we usually would see a peg for capes or whatnot on other figures. But yeah, really like this updated version of the Vulture. I love how the MCU and the films give a sort of modern twist on these classic villains, and obviously the sort of story in this film is that Michael Keaton is portraying the Vulture, who was a part of Damage Control, and Damage Control basically go around and clean up all the superhero battles. So what I'm assuming is they've got their hands on some Chitauri tech from the not Age of Ultron, the original Avengers event in New York, and he's given them to the Tinkerer that we're seeing in the new film, and they've built him this sort of tech. I don't know why he'd want a Vulture tech, but I'm sure we'll find out our reason in the film. But yeah, really like those clawed feet. And let me just go back to those clawed feet for a minute, because I want to show you the articulation. Look how far back the figure can go with the feet still flat on the floor. So the feet are still flat on the floor, and the articulation can go all the way back. So when he's going to be standing, look at that, impressive articulation on the feet. So if you've got a foot fetish out there, you might like these. I don't. Ooh. So yeah, that's the Vulture. So let's build these wings. Let's see what we got. Pow! So this is the moment we've all been waiting for. In front of me we have all of the pieces we need to complete the Vulture Build-A-Figure wings. So to do that, you need to buy every single figure in this Marvel Legends wave, which includes the classic look Spider-Man, homemade suit Spider-Man, Moon Knight, Cosmic Spider-Man, Tombstone, Beetle, and then the Vulture himself. So I really look forward to building these. Genuinely not done it yet. The only thing I've done is attach these pieces on here so I can sort of keep an eye on what side is what. So these come as separate pieces on both sides, and I've just attached them into those pegs up here. So that was really simple. So now we attach them on to the figure. So without me zooming out, you're not going to be able to see the full span of these wings. but it is really simple to build, to be honest, once you've got all the pieces in order. So I'll move the stand out of the way so I can just lower it down and show you these. Okay, so you can see the circles in there, and you can see they link up there. So you can bend them, and that goes there, and it fits nice and flush. There we go, both sides. So there we go, people. They are the wings. You can't even see the whole wing because I need to zoom out my camera, but very, very impressive. Very impressive. Let's bring in the Vulture, spin these round. Here's the Vulture. As I mentioned already, there's a peg right there on the back and a peg there, and then you attach them. Boom, they're on. So let me move the camera a tiny bit. Let's get the stand back in play. Get the stand on. Oh, they're touching the background. As I said, I'm doing this live, people, for the first time, so bear with me. All right, let's get this balance right. Pull these further back. All right, now let me cut so I can try and get the best shot of these wings. So there we have it, the Vulture and his Build-A-Figure wings. Now my workstation isn't very big, so this is as far back as I can go. But just to sort of show you the sort of size of these, here's the tape measure. And we're probably looking at about, so from tip of wing to tip of wing, we're looking at about 22.5 inches wingspan, which is very, very impressive. Really like how we can articulate these wings as well. The articulation points are all over the place. Even these turbines, they spin as well. That was the only thing disappointing about the recent Falcon wings, is that there was no articulation on them at all. But these ones are very impressive. As I said, articulation all over the place. They spin, the turbines turn as well on both sides. How good would it have been if this was actually like there was some sort of mechanism and battery that would keep them spinning. Very impressive. Really like the details in this figure. Not so much in paint job work apart from the colour on the turbine, but I don't mind sacrificing that for the sculpt and the size and all the extra articulation. Can't wait to pose this guy. I'm going to get mine on some fishing wire and have him hanging above my dioramas on my MCU shelf. Very, very impressive. What I have seen a lot of people doing is using the recent comic version Vulture from the 2-pack that comes with the unmasked head and use it on this figure. So you can, because obviously we don't get a Michael Keaton version unmasked head, we can use that comic version unmasked head and get him holding this helmet, and that will look really good on displays as well. So I might have to pick up that recent 2-pack just so I can do that in my display. But yeah, it's an awkward one to try and review, as again, my reviews are more just me showing off and talking about and giving you my opinion on these figures, but really impressive. I'm really glad that Hasbro give us a chance and tried something different. A lot of people were moaning that we're not getting a Build-A-Figure, but I like that Hasbro are just giving us a different sort of variation on what the Build-A-Figure could be. Obviously we got the Build-A-Figure wings, but just think they even teased that they might even do the hover chair for Professor X. I think they were joking at Toy Fair, but it would still be nice that they're at least thinking of stuff like this. Maybe one day a Quinjet, fingers crossed, that's not going to happen, but I would love a 6-inch figure scale of the Quinjet. Don't know where it'd fit in my house, but Hasbro, if you're listening, get that on the go. Massive epic Avengers Infinity War wave with Build-A-Figure Quinjet. That's what I'd like. It's never going to happen, but a man can dream. A man can dream. It's really hard to do a figure comparison of this guy because he's just massive, but I will just compare him now to the rest of the wave. Now, before bringing every figure from the wave, I just thought I'd show off just the MCU characters first, and I do like the scale between these characters. Hopefully, in the film, we get to see him battle the Vulture in both of these costumes, but I do love all the MCU figures that we're getting, looking very accurate to what we have seen in the trailers so far. And I just want to say, I really like how Marvel are giving us an updated version of all these comic book characters, these classic characters, and giving them a sort of modern day twist. Like obviously he's wearing Chitauri tech that he's found and he's given to the Tinkerer, and they've built this sort of Vulture armor. I don't know where it's going to come in play, but I love how Marvel give us these updated modern day looks of these classic characters. And even the Spider-Man there with the obviously inspired by the Scarlet Spider-Man from the comics, even though he's not Ben Reilly. Maybe one day we'll see Ben Reilly in the films, who knows, but really look forward to seeing Tom Holland's portrayal. But I am just gushing and babbling on. Let's compare him to the rest. So there you go, there's the Vulture compared to all the other figures in this wave. I've reviewed them all, so make sure you are subscribing to my channel. There is a playlist where you can go and watch my reviews and hear my thoughts on all of these characters. And I have done Who Is He segments for all of the comic book versions, which includes Moon Knight, Beetle, Cosmic Spider-Man / Captain Universe, and Tombstone. As you can see, Tombstone still towers above all the figures, even though Vulture is probably a little bit taller than your average 6-inch figure, just because he's wearing those massive boots, so which is understandable. But I do have a reason to like all of these figures, so I have no complaints at all. It's nice to get a mix of MCU and comic characters to sort of keep everyone happy. They've done a great job. Thank you, Hasbro, for giving us a chance with these Build-A-Figure wings as well. You've done them justice. Now we just need to see the film. Anyway, my name has been Dan W. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, tell a friend, tell them to subscribe, encourage me to make more content, and I will see you on the next one.